You finished with this juice, Peter?
Okay, now look, boys. Let's all eat a good breakfast today. I know you're bound to be nervous, but we have to have plenty of nourishment and energy, and that's why it's important to have a good breakfast.
Here's the story of a show that was never a ratings hit, never a critic's favorite, and yet somehow became one of the most rewatched, most quoted, most enduring sitcoms in American television history. The Brady Bunch ran for 5 seasons between 1969 and 1974, then found its real audience in syndication, in the after-school hours of the 1970s and 80s, in the bedrooms of children who never lived through that era, but knew every episode by heart anyway. The people who made it have gone on to lives that are, by turns, inspiring, heartbreaking, surprising, and very human. Today we look at what happened to every Brady Bunch cast member.
Now it's just the beginning. For both of us.
For all of us.
Right. The whole blooming Brady Bunch.
Robert Reed was the wrong man for the right show, and he knew it from the beginning. Born John Robert Reitz Jr. in 1932, he had trained as a Shakespearean actor, spent years developing his craft on stage, and arrived in Hollywood hoping for work that matched his ambitions. When the Brady Bunch was offered to him in 1969, he was simultaneously being developed by Paramount for something else entirely. He took the job and spent the next 5 seasons making no secret of his contempt for it. He argued with producer Sherwood Schwartz constantly. He walked off the set of the final episode because he found the script beneath him, Greg Brady's hair turning orange from a cheap tonic. He wrote lengthy memos to the production criticizing the writing. He was, by most accounts, genuinely difficult. He was also, by the accounts of every child who worked alongside him, patient, warm, and protective of the young actors in ways that the cameras never captured. What the cameras also never captured was the private life Reed carried through all of it. His castmates knew he was gay. Nobody said so. In the late 1960s, the network had already refused to make Carol Brady a divorcee. The character had to be a widow instead, because divorce was too controversial for American prime time. An openly gay actor playing the ideal American father was not a conversation anyone was prepared to have. Reed maintained the separation between his public and private self for the rest of his life. In the spring of 1991, he was diagnosed with HIV. That November, colon lymphoma. He told almost no one, confiding only in a close friend and his daughter Karen. Days before his death, he asked Florence Henderson to inform the cast. He died on May 12, 1992, at 59, at Huntington Memorial Hospital in Pasadena. His death certificate listed colon lymphoma as the cause and noted HIV as a significant contributing condition. The two revelations, that America's TV dad had been gay, that he had died of an AIDS-related illness, arrived together in the weeks after his death to a public that had no framework for them. Florence Henderson said she believed that living a double life for so long had made him deeply unhappy, and that the frustration and anger people sometimes saw on set were the symptoms of something much larger that he was never free to say out loud. Florence Henderson grew up poor in El Dorado, Indiana, the youngest of 10 children of an alcoholic father and a mother who eventually left. She taught herself to sing, used that gift to help hold the family together through hard times, and at 17 left for New York to pursue a career in theater. By 1951, she was in the original Broadway cast of Oklahoma. She worked consistently through the 1950s and 60s in theater and television, and by the time the Brady Bunch came along, she was already an established professional with a clear sense of who she was. The role of Carol Brady would define how the public saw her for the rest of her life. She understood that, and she chose to inhabit it with as much grace as she could. The show made her America's mother, and she wore it lightly. After the series ended in 1974, she kept working. Specials, spin-offs, guest appearances, a talk show, cooking shows, reality television. She competed on Dancing with the Stars at 82 years old the year she died. She was also among the most candid of the cast about what happened behind the scenes. That Reed was unhappy, that she had compassion for what he was carrying, that the cast genuinely loved each other even through the difficult moments. In 2016, she appeared at a fundraiser, danced, told people she had never felt better, and died the following morning of heart failure at 82. Barry Williams found out from a news alert on his phone. Her death was sudden enough to feel wrong. The woman who had played the indestructible television mother, who had outlasted the series, the spin-offs, the reunions, the cultural parody, and who had kept showing up with warmth and humor into her 80s, gone overnight. She left behind a generation of viewers who, at some level, had assumed she would always be there.
Ever since I saw that movie, Alice B. Toklas, I've been curious to find out what it was really like.
Ann B. Davis came to Alice Nelson sideways. She had already won 2 Emmy Awards in the 1950s for playing a completely different kind of character, Schultzy, the sharp-tongued secretary on The Bob Cummings Show, and had built a strong reputation as a comic actress before the Brady Bunch found her. When Sherwood Schwartz cast her as the housekeeper Alice, Paramount had to buy her out of a multi-week comedy engagement in Seattle. She arrived knowing exactly what she was doing, and did it with a precise, unhurried comic instinct that made Alice feel real in ways that the character on the page might not have supported. Davis never married. She lived in her later years with Bishop William Frey and his wife in San Antonio, Texas, part of a Christian community that was central to her life. She declined most of the Brady reunions, though she returned for the major ones, and she reprised Alice in several TV movies and the 1995 Brady Bunch movie, where she appeared as a truck driver, a joke that worked because audiences loved her enough to be in on it. She seemed genuinely at peace with her life and her legacy in a way that not all of her castmates found easy. Her agent, who worked with her for 22 years, said she was one of the most content people he had ever represented. On June 1, 2014, she fell in her bathroom in San Antonio. She was 88 years old and had been in excellent health. The fall caused a subdural hematoma. She never regained consciousness and died that day. The cast was shocked. There had been no sign of decline, no warning. Florence Henderson said she had spoken with her just 2 months earlier, and she had seemed fine. She was the first member of the main cast to die, and her absence settled over the Brady world quietly, the way the departure of someone genuinely beloved tends to. Barry Williams was 14 when the Brady Bunch began and 18 when it ended, which means he grew up on camera in ways that left him, by his own account, a little uncertain about who he was. Once the cameras stopped rolling, he tried. He did stage musicals, guest spots on Three's Company and Full House and Scrubs, a stint on General Hospital. He published Growing Up Brady. I Was a Teenage Greg in 1992, which was honest about the show's internal dynamics and candid enough about his teenage crush on Florence Henderson to cause a small stir. The crush, Henderson and others confirmed, was exactly that, a teenage crush, handled gracefully, nothing more. He married 3 times, he had children. He moved to Branson, Missouri. He kept performing with a musical group he called the Traveliers. In 2023, he competed on Dancing with the Stars season 32. None of it made him famous again the way the Brady Bunch had, and he seems to have found a way to live comfortably with that. In 2022, he launched the Real Brady Bros podcast with Christopher Knight, recapping original episodes, the kind of project that acknowledges, without embarrassment, that Greg Brady remains the most significant thing either of them has put into the world. In May 2025, he told people that the cast had been through weddings and separations and children in college together. "We know the ups and downs," he said. "I think that translated from the show."
Hello, Ginny. This is Marcia. I called about the slumber party I'm having tomorrow night.
Marcia Brady was the girl everyone wanted to be. Maureen McCormick played her for 5 years, and then spent decades dealing with the gap between that image and her actual life. She was using cocaine during the show's later run. After it ended, the addiction deepened. She has said publicly that she botched the audition for Raiders of the Lost Ark because of where she was at the time. She went through a psych ward. She went in and out of rehab. In her 2016 memoir, Here's the Story, Surviving Marcia Brady and Finding My True Voice. She wrote about the years of her life that the Brady image had quietly swallowed. The eating disorder, the depression, the relationships that went wrong, the sense of being trapped inside a character who was supposed to represent something she could never quite be. She has been sober for more than 3 decades. She married Michael Cummings in 1985, and they have a daughter, Natalie, born in 1989. She has described that marriage as her greatest accomplishment, a phrase that sounds modest until you understand the context that preceded it. She appeared on Dancing with the Stars, competed in Celebrity Fit Club, co-hosted the HGTV series Frozen in Time. She was part of a very Brady renovation in 2019, working alongside her castmates on the Studio City house that had served as the Brady exterior for 5 seasons. She is still working. She seems, by all accounts, genuinely well. Christopher Knight played Peter Brady with the kind of earnest anxiety that made the middle-child dynamic feel real, and then spent the years after the show doing something unusual for a former child actor. He built a successful career in the technology industry. Through the 1980s and into the 1990s, he worked in tech, eventually founding the Christopher Knight home brand of household furnishings. He made cameos in various Brady spin-offs and reunions, but he was not defining himself through them. He married 4 times. The third marriage, to America's Next Top Model winner Adrienne Curry in 2006, produced a VH1 reality series called My Fair Brady that chronicled the unlikely pairing of a 50-year-old former child actor and a 22-year-old reality television star. They divorced in 2012. He married his 4th wife, Kara Kokonis, in 2016. He has spoken about his troubled relationship with his own parents growing up and about how little his actual family resembled the one he had pretended to belong to on screen. He joined Williams and Lookinland as the mummies on The Masked Singer in 2022 and co-hosts the Real Brady Brothers podcast with Williams. At 67, he remains the Brady kid most visibly at peace with having had a life that moved substantially beyond the character. Jan Brady was defined by the feeling of being overlooked. Marcia. Eve Plumb played her with a specificity that made the jealousy feel earned rather than cartoonish. And then she made the clearest break from the Brady world of any of the 6 kids. She declined several reunion projects over the years. She did not appear in The Bradys, the 1990 drama sequel. She was selective about what she came back for, and when she did come back, as she did for a very Brady renovation in 2019, it felt like a considered choice rather than an obligation. What she had been doing in the years between appearances was painting. She became a serious visual artist, showing work in galleries and selling it commercially. A painting she made sold for around $8,000 in 2009. She has described the work as the thing that kept her grounded through the years when the Brady identity was threatening to become the only one available to her. She has been married to business consultant Ken Pace since 1995. In August 2025, she announced she was writing her own memoir, Happiness Included, Jan Brady and Beyond, due for release in April 2026. Over the years, many people have asked me to share my stories for their book, she told People. But if I'm going to share my stories, it's going to be in my book.
Off the Brady Bunch, I did The Towering Inferno, and that was a huge epic. You know, the script's 250 pages or something, and that took 4 months.
Bobby Brady was the youngest of the Brady boys, the kid who wanted to be Jesse James and ended up learning, over 5 seasons, that heroism was more complicated than that. Mike Lookinland played him from the age of 8 to 13, and then did what almost no child actor does. He walked off the set at the end of the series and went back to being a regular kid with as little drama as possible. He worked for years behind the camera as an electrical and camera technician. He did not chase the spotlight. He was in the reunions when asked, but not visibly eager about them. He has been married to Kelly Wormuth since 1987, and they have 2 children. He had a drunk driving incident in 1997 and has been sober since. He now owns and runs Just Add Water Custom Concrete in Salt Lake City, Utah, a decorative concrete business that has nothing to do with television. He appeared with Williams and Knight as the mummies on The Masked Singer in 2022 and joined them again for the 2021 Lifetime Christmas movie, Blending Christmas. He seems to have constructed exactly the life he wanted, one in which Bobby Brady is a small, mostly affectionate memory rather than an ongoing obligation. He told people during a very Brady renovation that he still felt like part of a family with the others, and that some families are the ones you land in rather than the ones you are born into. Cindy Brady was 7 years old when Susan Olsen started playing her, and the character's sweetness, the curls, the lisp, the kitty carry-all doll,
I know how the other guy feels. She wants to come to the play too.
became something that followed Olsen into adulthood in ways she did not always find comfortable. She has said that directors refused to cast her in grittier roles because they could not see past Cindy Brady. She tried. She applied for parts that were a long way from the Brady household. The image was too fixed. She eventually redirected her energy: graphic design, art, animal welfare advocacy, talk radio. She co-hosted a Los Angeles radio show and had a political talk show that ended in controversy in 2016 when comments she had made were described as homophobic. She has been on the conservative end of the political spectrum, and in 2024 claimed that a planned Brady Bunch revival had collapsed partly because of her political views. She has been married twice. She wrote the 2009 coffee table book, Love to Love You, Brady's, about the ill-fated Brady Bunch variety hour of the mid-1970s, which she and the rest of the cast regarded with a combination of affection and bewilderment. She appeared in a very Brady renovation in 2019 and the 2021 Lifetime film, Blending Christmas. She has said that the bond between the 6 Brady kids is genuine, that Schwartz cast people who actually liked each other, and that the love visible on screen was real. Whatever else has happened in the years since 1974, that part of it, by all available accounts, is held. The Brady Bunch was never critically respected. It was never in the top 30 in the ratings during its original run. It was canceled in 1974 and went into syndication, where it found the audience it had always been looking for: children coming home from school, needing something that felt like the version of family they wished they had. That is probably why it lasted. Not because it was realistic, but because it offered something more useful than realism. The people who made it were, behind the camera, significantly more complicated than the characters they played. A father figure who hated the show and carried a secret that the era would not let him speak. A mother figure who had clawed her way out of genuine poverty and loss. A housekeeper who found more peace in the role than almost any of them. 6 children who grew into adults with the usual mixture of struggle and resilience and ordinary life that tends to follow childhood fame. They are in their mid to late 60s now, the ones still living. The house was renovated. The podcast is weekly. The memories, by all accounts, are mostly fond. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. And if you want to keep revisiting the real lives behind the names you grew up with, subscribing keeps you with us.